Very good morning, dear students. Today we will discuss our module 2 of your nanoelectronics subject. So, what we have studied so far, that is the all about module 1, and where we came to know the internal details of any semiconductor material and the phenomena, the applications, and all the process that is happening in the semiconductor material in terms of their energy band diagram, in terms of time dependent, time independent Schrodinger equations, their solutions, particle in a box concept, degeneracy, and chronic penny model, Brillouin zone, how it is created, and how you can calculate the degeneracy with respect to the discrete energy level, and everything, every parameters, every definitions we have already covered so far. So now we will introduce our the main focus of the subject, this elective subject, that is nanoelectronics. And from this second module, we will focus entirely on the nanoelectronics and what is the nanoelectronics, why it is applications, why it is called nano, and why the electronics, this term is added to the nano part, what is the significance, and basically the most important part that we will cover, that all the design are based on CMOS, and related to that CMOS we have to study the CMOS scaling, because scaling is the most important point, that the making of a device in a nanoscale. So scaling, this term is a very important term of this second module. Okay, and you have the syllabus that MOS scaling is a very important topic that you have to study in this module 2, and you have to know that why CMOS is needed, why CMOS is used in every design in today's scenario, in today's VLSI, LSI, SSI design style, right? VLSI means very large scale integration, small scale integrations, and so on. And so I think that you have the knowledge of MOSFET, right? And so on that, and based on that MOSFET, it will be very easier for you all to study CMOS, and it's a very important, and it's a very nice concept. And when you will study this CMOS, you will see that it's a very easy and easy to know and easy to implement in this design, but because of its some advantages, and what the advantages, I will come to that point. But before that, today I will discuss the entire details of the nanoscience, and how nanoelectronics came to the nanoscience, nanotechnology, and everything. And related to that video that I already shared in my previous lecture, that's an NPTEL video lecture of an IIT, and based on that video lecture I will discuss all the points, that is why nanoscience, and why nanoelectronics, and why nanotechnology, how it is related, right? So let's start. We all know that nanoscience basically describes the three physical phenomena, three types of phenomena. Okay, and what kind of phenomena it's related? One is your, I am just writing the main points, but all PDF will be shared with you. The first one is your physical phenomena. Second is chemical phenomena, means where this nano science is applied, chemical phenomena. And obviously the third point that you are already known, that is biological phenomena, right? Okay, so these three domains are mostly important and mostly related to the nanoelectronics, right? And here I have written one point, that is nanoscience, and the scaling is less than 100 nanometer. What does it mean? It means that mostly mostly phenomena, the phenomena study at the length scale of 100 less than 100 nanometer. That is what we broadly classify as nanoscience. Okay, so scaling is less than 100 nanometers. So please think about that, how tiny a device is. Okay, so if it is scaling such a small device, then we can broadly classify in it's belongs to the nanoscience, right? And what kind of phenomena are used over there is physical phenomena, chemical phenomena, and obviously the biological phenomena, right? But now when we talk about the nanotechnology means that is nothing but the products with building blocks of length scale less than 100 meter. Okay, so what we talk about, we talk about the product that I am just writing down the product that is the length scale. I'm just writing the main key points, that is the length scale less than 100 meter. And in that case, we can say that the product is nanotechnology enabled product. If it is length scale is less than 100 meter, then we can say that is nanotechnology enabled product. Okay, now we know that there is tremendous activity in nanoscience and nanotechnology in the world over. Right, so nanoelectronics is one of the most mature part of nanotechnology, and nanoelectronics is one of the most successful common manifestation of nanoscience and nanotechnology. Got my point? I am again repeating that nanoelectronics is one of the most important area, the most mature part. I am also writing over here that is nanoelectronics is most mature part of nanotechnology, because I am again repeating that our subject is nanoelectronics, not nanotechnology or nanoscience, because nanoscience or nanotechnology is a broad part. Okay, but we will focus only on nanoelectronics. So we will focus basically on that electronics part and how it is tiny, how it is made tiny, and what is the advantage, what is the applications. That is the focusing area of our study, right? Okay, so nanoelectronics is nothing but the most mature area of nanotechnology, and also it is the most successful and successful common manifestation of nanoscience. Basically, it's a very small part, very small part, a very tiny part of nanoscience and nanotechnology, and that is I am writing over here. This is nanoelectronics. Okay, so nanoelectronics growth in future realize an innovation in the new materials and the device structure. These 2 points are very important point that I want to focus. That is the nanoelectronics means how we can define that it's a nanoelectronics, how we can define that this product is technology enabled product, right? So how we can define in terms of electronics? Yes, because we have already defined the semiconductor material and everything related to that. So we will focus the materials and the device structure, obviously a device structure, because based on the structure it will be it will do the specific functions, right? So nanoelectronics nanoelectronics growth, okay, in future it is nothing but the innovation. And what kind of innovation, where the innovation will be applied? Yes, this is the new materials and obviously the device structure. These two very important points. One is materials, which kind of material we are using, and which the how we are defining the device structure. Okay, and only then we can create new nanoelectronics product in the future, right? Okay, so if these 2 points we are very well known to us, then we can create a new nanoelectronics product. Okay, so very specific aspect of nanotechnology is nanoelectronics. It's a very specific aspect of nanotechnology. We can say also its application, right? Because it uses because its use, which kind of use, this nanoelectronics product use is increasing rapidly day by day in our daily life. Okay, it is used in industry, it is used in healthcare sector, it is used in our day-to-day life, in our gadgets, in our accessories and everything. Okay, so its demand is increasing, rapidly increasing. Okay, so because of its length scale, because it's a nano, is okay, because it is scaling in a nanometer. So the important parameter that is related to that is nanoscale, right? And which kind of nanoscale? One, we can say that is biology, that is made of, and other one is your electronics that we can create. Okay, so because nanosensor, nanobiosensor, your medicine, not only that, nanomedicine, but in medical use, this nanotechnology used in medical science. Okay, so nanotechnology used in medical science is all about the biology and electronics. This is the combination of both. Okay, and building block of our life is carbon atom. If we all know that in our physics, in our chemistry, in our 11th and 12th standard, we have already studied that the building block of the life is carbon atom. And now my question is that what is the building block of electronics? What will be the answer? What is the building block of electronics? If I can ask this question, this building block of life is carbon atom, and building block of electronics is, what's that? Yes, we have already studied, that is silicon atom, because it is a mostly used material. Okay, so this is nothing but the silicon atom. Okay, now one more thing that I want to share with you is nothing but a very interesting table. This is the table. Okay, how we are entering from macro to meso to micro to nanostructure. Okay, how we are entering from macro to meso, this one, from macro structure, meso technology, micro technology, and now it is nanotechnology, right? Please note that the scaling, the left hand side, this is the scaling part. This is your 100, this is the beginning. This is 100 meter, right? This is 100 meter, means 10 square. And that time we were macro technology. Okay, after that the new technology came, that is meso technology. And what is the scaling? That is 100 millimeter, that is 10 to the power minus 1 meter. Okay, now after that we entered to micro technology. Okay, and micro technology means the length is 100 micrometer. Okay, and after that we entered to the nanotechnology, and with the scaling of 100 nanometer to 100 picometer, 10 to the power minus 7 to 10 to the power minus 10 meter. Okay, so we can say that this is the region, this kind of region is in between your macro technology, right? And this is the region in between your meso technology. This is the region in between your micro technology, and this is the region in between your nanotechnology. right? So if we can take the example of that, the 100 meter means trees, human being, human brain, and this is a biological part, because we have divided the entire table into the biology and in terms of electronics, right? Biology and in terms of electron. This is a big distinction that we are using in nanotechnology in our current scenario. So but that how the changes happening, where to where. Okay, so when these was 100 meter, we can example say in biology this is a trees, human being, human brain, etc. And in electronics we can say that the cell phone, server, motherboard. Please think about the size. Okay, so it belongs to the macro technology. And after that, when we are entering to the meso technology, this is human heart, eyeball, retina. We can easily take the example. And in terms of electronics, please see the change, that is package chip, microprocessor, cache memory, etc. Think about the size, and after that it's going to more tiny. And whenever we are entering the micro technology, we can take the example of our hair, because our hair, it is a micro diameter. Okay, micro diameter means 100 micrometer, micro diameter. Arteries, IBCs means red blood cell. Okay, and in electronics we can say that ALU, multiplier, logic gates in terms of IC, integrated circuit. And after that, we can say that the cell nucleus, DNA, carbon atom, etc. in terms of biology. And in terms of electronics, we can say that gate length, gate oxide, silicon atom. Okay, so it's a small tiny, and we are using this in our nanotechnology, and that is the totally belongs to the nanotechnology part. So this is these biology and electronics are mostly related part that we will discuss in our nanoelectronics also. It's just like an example which kind of scaling in terms of biology and in terms of electronics. So here I am taking some examples to get you know that how the scaling is done, just taking a very simple example of our body. And in the electronics, please see that how the changes is happening from this motherboard to this silicon atom. Okay, so this is nothing but the scaling, all about the scaling. Okay, fine. So two important message that I want to share with you, that is the era of nanotechnology is going to be a very strong interaction between the biology and electronics that we have studied previously. Okay, and on one hand, these bio-inspired electronics with respect to our brain related to the aspect, the redundancy of the electronics. So this biology and electronics are mostly related in today's scenario with the help of this nanotechnology and obviously the nanoelectronics. Okay, and one of the most important application of electronics in diagnostic tools, lab on chip, etc. So please think that how this nanoelectronics is going to a very broad area in the medical electronics. Okay, because all the diagnostic tools, that is you can think that our endoscopy, a small wire is entering to inside to our intestine, and to just capture the picture of that. So how tiny a wire that is entering to our body through our mouth. Okay, so it's happening because of its nanoelectronics, because of this nanotechnology, and because of its scaling. Okay, so one of the most important application of the electronics in medical sector, okay, in biology sector, that is nothing but in terms of your diagnostic tool, is very important applications of nanoelectronics, nanomedical electronics, diagnostic tools, and lab on chip, and many more. Okay, so biology and electronics are two distinct areas, but they are interrelated with the help of the nanoelectronics. So I am again repeating that this biology and electronics are mostly related to with the help of these nanoelectronics. Okay, got my point? Okay, this is a broad area, this is a broad application area of nanoelectronics that we will come to the point gradually after the second and third module. And now we will discuss that nanoelectronics. So we will focus entirely on the electronics. So this is a very big picture of this module, right? So any application of electronics gadget, any application of electronics gadget consists of any application of, just I'm writing the point, any application of electronic gadget consists of two parts. What is the part? One is the computation and other is the storage. Please think that we want a very tiny device, but storage will be very high, right? So our expectation is more because we are the users. Okay, we can't lose anything. Okay, we will take all the advantages, but as well as parallelly the device will be small but expectation will be so high. So how it is possible? Yes, it's possible using this nanoelectronics, using nanotechnology, using nanoscience, right? So first important parameter that we want to focus whenever it is designed with nanoelectronics or nanoscience, this is computation, and other important parameter that should be focused, that is the storage capacity. Okay, so computation means microprocessor, microcontroller, DSP chip, networking analysis, everything. And storage means SRAM, static dynamic RAM, and static RAM, dynamic RAM, flash memory, cache memory, that we have already covered in our previous semester, that is microprocessor. So everything. So we create intelligence day by day in the field of electronics with the help of nanotechnology, right? And in which material we are using in the electronics, that is nothing but the silicon, right? So we are creating intelligence in silicon. So this is a basic semiconductor material that we are using in all kind of devices. Okay, and electronics industry growth in the last few years is twice as much as the world GDP. Why it is so? Because this growth in electronics and how it is enabled, we need to store the information and process the information. Okay, so we need to store the information and process the information with the help of this nanotechnology. So when we talk about a device, it should store and manipulates the computational state variable using two or more allowed state. Okay, so whenever we think about the device, its storage capacity, its efficiency, its size, its area, they all should be a very optimized in order to get the proper output. Okay, and this is already and this is only enabled using this nanoelectronics and nanotechnology part, right? Okay, so now we will discuss that electronics is a very big industry, that nanoelectronics is a very big industry in today's scenario that we have already discussed. Now in today's scenario, all the device is in a tiny device, right? And one of the most important example that we have already seen in our lab, that is chip. Chip means IC, indicator circuit. But what is inside the chip? What is that? What is inside the chip? If we take a cross section of the IC, what is inside? What is the internal view of that? Okay, so how can you answer that? If we see the internal structure of any IC, we will see that there are large ensemble of transistors connected appropriately. I must say the word with quote, that is appropriately. APPRO, appropriately, through multi-level or metal interconnection lines. I am again repeating, if we see the cross section, if we see the cross section of any device, we will see that a billion of transistors are connected appropriately with proper metal interconnection lines. And we will see that there are different kind of layers are there by which the device is formed. Okay, by which the device is formed in a nanoscale, right? But to design a device in a nanoscale, there are various techniques followed. Okay, so I can say that the example that is lithography, ion implantation, diffusion, the various processes are there, and all will be studied in details in nanoelectronics, but this is a later part. Okay, the very details part that I will come whenever it will be the time to discuss. So please, but before that, just think in a very easier way that what is inside the chip. What is inside the chip? If we see that the cross section of an IC device or IC, we will see that large number of transistors are connected appropriately with proper interconnection lines. And with so many different kind of layers, because layer by layer a device is formed. Okay, and for that purpose various techniques are used for fabrication, and this is the process of fabrication. This is the process known as fabrication, this layer by layer making of a device. And today we talk about CMOS, complementary MOSFET. We look that most electronics devices are designed using CMOS. And a very small fraction of device, that is less than 5% device, are designed using BJT. Sorry, it's not visible to you. BJT, BJT, MESFET, and your FinFET, etc. FinFET is also in your syllabus. But most of the devices are used using CMOS. Okay, but if you see in detail, that you will see that there are all source terminal, drain terminal, gate terminal, and today in modern chip there are billion and million of transistors are there with a very small area. Most important point, the area is very small, okay, but there are billion and million of transistors. So if we think that a very small cross section, that is 1 centimeter cross 1 centimeter, okay, but internally there are 1 million transistors. This is nothing but 1 centimeter device structure, device scaling, but inside the device there are million of transistors. How it is possible? So this is a very big question, how it is possible. Okay, so we are designing the device in a nanoscale, but internally we have to implement a billion of transistors, so they are feeding and they are fitting, and the placement, floor planning, everything should be in nanoscale. So this is a beauty of the nanoelectronics. Okay, but all the transistors should be interconnected, therefore we need the multi-level interconnects. Inside, all are well designed, all are well routed. Okay, and for all this kind of design we choose CMOS. Okay, and why it is CMOS? We must say here, I am just want to say 3 points why it is CMOS. Because CMOS, its area requirement is very less, efficient, cost effective, high speed, and so many advantages and parameters are there for CMOS, and that's why CMOS is chosen. Okay, so now how this CMOS is working. So CMOS is nothing but there is a source terminal, there is a gate terminal, but CMOS is known as complementary MOS. Complementary MOS. So MOS means MOSFET. Okay, and what is the application of MOSFET? Most application is it is acting as a switch. How it is acting as a switch? How we can define? We can define in this way. So this is that, this is in, this is out, and this is control input. Okay, so signal will pass from input to output, and control terminal will be able to open or close this switch. So this is the control terminal, which is basically known the gate terminal. You are all known that this is drain terminal, this is source terminal, nothing else. So this is basically the structure of a switch, and this structure of a switch is nothing but MOSFET switch, and this concept will be used in CMOS also. Okay, so the basic diagram is nothing else. This is gate, this is drain, and this is source. Okay, so got my point. And to discuss in detail, we must know the MOSFET, PMOS and NMOS very well. PMOS means P channel MOSFET and NMOS means in channel MOSFET. You should know that. Okay, so in my next lecture I will discuss all about CMOS and how we will enter from microelectronics to nanoelectronics, and what is the design flow and what is the design technique, okay, of nanoscience in VLSI concept. So till then, please go through all the lecture, all the PDF to understand very well. Thank you.